Welcome and thank you very much for checking out my review of Eurovision, the story of Fire Saga, now available on Netflix, and it's directed by David Dobkin and stars Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams among many others, and it's bound to make Eurovision fans very happy. So how did I, the complete opposite of that, feel about this film? Let's find out. And it tells the story of aspiring musicians Lars and Sigrid who are given the opportunity to represent their country of Iceland at the world's biggest song competition, as they fight to prove that any dream is worth having and worthy of fighting for. Now, even though I'm an European, I'm not a fan of the Eurovision Song Contest at all. It appeals 0% to me. I mean, minus 100% of appeal to me. So I was kind of hesitant to see this film, even though I basically love everyone involved and I like my music movies. I just didn't see the appeal of having a love letter for this contest because it just means nothing to me. But as soon as that first music video / trailer for Volcano Man came out, I was kind of all in for this. And this is one of those films where its joy and heart is infectious. You can see that everyone is loving absolutely everything that they're doing here, and you feel it through the screen. The characters are charming, the story is cliche, but it's functional in how it goes about what it is going about and the main theme and arcs for this character. That character being Will Ferrell, who is really the one character who goes through the biggest journey here, but him and Rachel McAdams have some awesome chemistry on screen, I'll tell you that much. I love both these actors and I love seeing them together in this. Their chemistry is just that good and they have some fun banter with one another that keeps the relationship and the journey of the two of them very engaging. And I also like the music numbers in this film. Everything looks spectacular. The work that they put into this makes it feel like a real Eurovision song number. The lights and the stage show that they put on, it's really, really well done. The production in this film is invaluable. And cinematography as well, not only when it comes to the stage shows, but even when they're shooting stuff in Iceland, at least I believe they actually shot it in Iceland, but even if they didn't, it looks just fantastic. It actually makes you want to go there. And the songs themselves are catchy. I don't think they were meant to be actual good songs. Maybe that's just me. I don't think they're particularly good songs. They're very simple, but they're there to give the film kind of a punch and to be funny in the context of these characters and the film. And that's really it. They're catchy, they're simple, somewhat kind of stupid, but I think that's really purposeful, and for me that really worked. But amongst everything that I liked in this film, Dan Stevens steals this show by far. He's actually the worst part of this film as well, and I'll get to that in a bit, but he's infectious. He's flamboyant, he's charming, he's charismatic. Everything about him bursts through the screen throughout this film. It's amazing to watch him. No matter what the scene was, as soon as he was on screen, I was immediately hooked. I wanted to know everything about this character. Just the way he looks, the way he talks, the way he moves, the way he looks at certain characters or directly at the camera sometimes when he's doing his music number is fantastic. By far the best part of this film, Dan Stevens as Alexander Lemtov. And now we're going into issues because he's also the worst part of this film, because as soon as you get to know this character, as soon as he shows up for the first time on screen, everything else compared to him is just not at the same level. The rest of the characters are charming and you kind of root for them and whatnot, but you're really not as interested in them as you are in Alexander Lemtov. This dude is filthy rich somehow. He has a house that's basically a fucking palace in Edinburgh. You have no idea why, but it is so interesting and you want to know so much more about him. Every time this dude goes off screen, you're kind of just wanting him to get back on. Another thing that I noticed in this film is that sometimes it is a little bit too silly. I don't mind silly characters with their own charm and their own unique traits, but the rest of the film just feels like it's not putting all its effort into it when it comes to writing. It's also not exaggeratedly funny. Like, I didn't laugh out loud once in this film. I chuckled here and there, I would almost say constantly, because there's always a scene that makes you go, huh. But that's really it's not really a funny movie for big laughs. And why that's such a big issue is because the film feels like it's more worried about being a silly rom-com than a tribute to the Eurovision Song Contest. Even though it is absolutely that, it has its priorities on being a silly rom-com, and it doesn't always work. Sometimes it's a little too silly, and it's never really so funny as it thinks it is. And the film also is extremely long. This film runs at 2 hours and 3 minutes. It doesn't need more than 1 hour and 40 minutes at most. But for someone like me who doesn't give two shits about the Eurovision Song Contest, this was, for the most part, a well-spent time. As soon as you see it, you kind of forget it, apart from Alexander Lemtov. But I think it's on Netflix. It's just a click away. You can do basically anything you want as it is going on the TV. It's a movie that doesn't demand your attention, and that's both a good thing about it and a bad thing about it. I'm giving Eurovision the Story of Fire Saga a C. Now, what did you think of Eurovision, the Story of Fire Saga, my fellow geekies? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what is your favorite song from the film. Thank you so much for watching. You are the best. Stay tuned for many more reviews coming this week. We got a busy week ahead of us. And of course, the podcast Geeks of the Roundtable will be back also this week with my friend Zach Pope and myself. I hope to see you there. And so until then, don't forget to subscribe and like the video because it really helps me and the channel out. But most importantly, above everything else, forever and always, love each other and love the movies.